Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andini Ameliya Putri. So I'm here to explain mind mapping about my final project. So this is my mind mapping of my final project. I took the Castro literature and the title of my story is Heritage on a Plate. And there are of the table of contents. So the first is themes, second is character and characterization, the third is setting, the fourth is conflict, and the last is plot. So first let's talk about themes. So in my story I choose 5 themes. So the first is culinary heritage, the second is tradition versus modernity, the third is community and belonging, and the fourth is sustainability and nature, and the last is spirituality and ritual. So let's talk about the character and characterization. So the first is about Kartika Prativi. She is a protagonist. The role is passionate young chef who returned to her hometown in Central Java after studying culinary arts abroad. Her characterization, she is a creative, ambitious, and slightly conflicted. And the motivation, she is to open a restaurant that combines traditional Indonesian flavor with modern technique. Next, about character and characterization, Ratna, Kartika's mother. The characterization, she is warm, nurturing, but traditional and somewhat resistant to change. She believes in the value of authentic time-honored recipes, and her motivation is to preserve her family culinary heritage and ensure Kartika respects and honors their cultural roots. Next, about Tio, he is antagonist, and their characterization, he is charismatic, ambitious, and focused on fame. The motivation is to dominate the culinary scene by popularizing fusion cuisines, even if the means diluting Indonesian culinary tradition. And the next is about Pak Jeffrey, or Kartika's father. His characterization is wise, environmentally conscious, and supportive of Kartika culinary. And the motivation is to teach Kartika about the importance of sustainability and sourcing ingredients responsibly, ensuring that the land and culture thrive. And the next character is Vita, Kartika's childhood friend. The characterization, she is outgoing, practical, and deeply rooted in the village. Vita understands the local food scene and often helps Kartika navigate her challenges. Her motivation is to support Kartika while also advocating for the local food culture and ensuring that traditional recipes remain accessible to the community. Next is setting. The primary setting is the Javanese village. And the secondary setting is Jakarta. So let's talk about the conflict. For the first is internal conflict, Kartika's struggle. Kartika grapples with her desire to innovate and modernize Indonesian cuisine while feeling the weight of her family expectation to uphold traditional recipes and methods. This creates a tension between her artistic aspiration and her cultural identity. The next conflict is external conflict, tradition versus modernity. Kartika faced opposition from her mother, Ibu Ratna, who fears that her doctor modern ideas will overshadow the authenticity of their culinary heritage. This generational conflict highlights the struggle between preserving tradition and embracing change. Next conflict is rivalry with Tio. Kartika rivalry with Tio es- escalates as he promotes his function restaurant, which draw attention away from traditional interiors. His success creates pressure for Kartika to compete in a culinary landscape that value innovation over authenticity. Next conflict is an environmental conflict. Pak Jeffrey Organic Farm faced challenges from industrial agriculture practice and environmental degradation, rising concern about sustainable food sourcing and the impact of modernization on traditional farming practice. Next is about plot. The first is exposition. Kartika returned to her village after studying culinary art in Jakarta, inspired to start her own restaurant that focused traditional Indonesian flavor with modern technique. Her mother, Ibu Ratna, prepares traditional dishes for a family gathering, emphasizing the importance of their culinary heritage. The next is rising action. Kartika experiments in her kitchen, creating new dishes that blend traditional recipes with contemporary style. However, Ibu Ratna disapproves, leading to tension between mother and daughter. Meanwhile, Theo opened his trendy restaurant, gaining popularity and challenging Kartika's vision. The next plot is about conflict escalates. Kartika enters the local cooking competition that could provide her with the exposure needed to launch her restaurant. As she revealed her dishes, she faced backlash from the community who feel she's straying too far from tradition. Her relationship with Ibu Ratna becomes strained. The next is climax. During the cooking competition, Kartika must present her signature dish, which incorporates both modern technique and traditional flavor. She experiences a moment of doubt as she considers abandoning her innovative approach to appease her mother and the judges. The next is falling action. After a healthy conversation with Pak Jeffrey about the importance of honoring their land and food, Kartika realizes that she can bridge tradition and innovation. She chooses to present a dish that respects her heritage while showcasing her culinary skill. And the last is about resolution. Kartika dish wins acclaim for its unique blend of traditional and modern elements. Ibu Ratna, while still continues acknowledge Kartika's talent and potential for a new culinary direction. Kartika Restaurant become a place where the community gathers to celebrate both tradition and innovation, fostering a sense of belonging, cultural pride. Okay, so that is the mind mapping of my final project. That's all from me. If there are mistakes, I apologize. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.